Welcome everybody to the Steve and Bobby Show. My name's Steve Williams and I'm here with Bobby Bliatu. I appreciate everybody that is tuning in to the Steve and Bobby Show. Really, I do. This is what show is this?
I don't know, but I'm having fun.
I am having fun. It's like show 30, I think, 29 or something. Anyway, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So let's talk Elizabeth Warren. Let's talk candidates. And this is what I'm trying to do, okay? So everybody that's out there that watches our show, that I'm trying not to attack all or go through all the candidates and
there's too many. There's just too many.
And there's no way we can do it. So what I do is there's 7 scheduled town halls or 5 scheduled town halls that CNN is doing, and I know MSNBC is going to do 5.
Yeah.
So we got plenty to go through all these candidates.
Yeah, we have all the way to March too.
Yeah. So we talked about what Pete Buttigieg,
Yep, Buttigieg.
and we talked Kamala Harris. We talked
Gabbard.
about yes.
Yes.
So today I want to talk about the town hall meeting that was done by CNN on Monday. So they had 5 candidates that were at the town hall. So there was Senator Amy Klobuchar, they had Senator Kamala Harris, and they had Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Man, you know, Pete's everywhere now.
Yeah.
6 months ago, nobody knew who this guy was. So he did another town hall. He was there again. So, and we had Elizabeth Warren. And before I go into the Elizabeth Warren thing, and this is what I've noticed about the candidates, all the candidates, okay? I noticed what they have done is they have targeted a group. I'm talking about Democratic candidates. What they have done is they targeted a group. They're sticking with that demographic and using it as a baseline. Does that make sense? Let me clarify what I'm trying to say because you look confused.
trying to figure you out.
Okay,
right now.
so listen. Pete Buttigieg, right?
Yeah.
We all know that he is he's gay,
Okay.
and he is a veteran.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are 2 demographics I feel that Pete Buttigieg would do good in to use as a base, right? Left-leaning Democrats and maybe the LGBTQ community. That seems to be some of the policies that he's basing his campaign on.
Okay.
Okay, that's just my viewpoint. Then Kamala Harris seems to me, this is what I feel on Kamala Harris, and this is kind of weird to say this. Kamala Harris and Cory Booker, which are the 2 black candidates that are can I say front runners, kind of like in the top tier, seem to be the centrist. Okay, so they're not really touching on race, to me, in my point, too much, especially Kamala Harris. Amy Klobuchar, to me, is touching on like maybe mid-America, kind of like what Joe Biden's doing. And we're going to talk about Joe Biden. Joe Biden entered the race, and we're going to have a big segment on him. Hopefully we can get on him next week. Bernie Sanders is the only one I think is a little bit different because he has a wide range of progressives in his corner, which is he has LGBTQ, he's all over the place, right? I mean, in the sense of progressives that support him. Elizabeth Warren is a little different. I've noticed what she's been doing. And I've been watching her for a while because I think she's really smart, and I think she's a policy person. She is a policy wonk. So if you go to her campaign page, man, it's on. She's got all of her policies in the campaign page. I donate to all the candidates, even the bad ones, even the ones I don't like, $1, whatever, just so I know what's going on out there. So Elizabeth Warren is really policy oriented, and I noticed the demographic that she seems to be going after, and it's African American women. That's what I've noticed. She's been really on point on this, on a lot of the issues that are big to them, and I think it's actually good because it's kind of unique in the sense of not too many candidates goes after that demographic. Kamala Harris, who's the sole African American woman that's on there, that's on the top tier, doesn't seem to be so much after that particular demographic, but it's policy issues. So let's talk about it. So let's tune into the first video.
Wait, before you go.
Okay, my bad.
Could CNN just be going for views? Could CNN just be going for views? I mean, you're including, when you're playing identity politics here,
Yep.
they're just including everybody that covers the base. I mean, they got a leader from each group that they want to go after.
Right.
And that's who they're putting in there.
Are you saying CNN's doing that?
Yeah, CNN's doing that, and I think MSNBC and everyone will do that.
argument.
They're going after views. They're going after the money.
Yep.
They're putting it in there, and that's what they're doing. And in a sense, it's also giving us a fair representation so that
Mm-hmm.
those folks that want to go after one topic, they can get in and realize, oh, hey, there's another topic that's bigger.
Yeah.
So we're, in a sense, it's broadening the viewership, it's broadening the knowledge of who has what priorities over the other. And I don't think that Elizabeth Warren is really particularly targeting one group. I think she's targeting everybody.
Yeah.
It's just the one that stands out
Yeah.
above the rest is the stances that she's taking and being vocal about.
Well, and this early, I mean, that's a good point.
They're
I
all
mean,
policy people.
But
they have to be all policy people.
Right.
It's just that Elizabeth Warren, to me, is not about the hoopla. It's not about the, grabbing the media. It's like, hey, let's get the job done.
Yeah.
And so I'm writing policies, or I have these standpoints on these policies that I want to institute, that as president, I would work with Congress to get these things passed.
Yeah.
That's what, some people want to hear, but she's not about a media circus.
And she's also, Elizabeth Warren she's a Harvard professor, very smart, but her big thing is banking. And here's another thing about Elizabeth Warren, a lot of people don't know about. Elizabeth Warren used to be a Republican back in the 90s. She was actually a registered Republican, voted for Republican candidates for years, until the financial crisis of 2007, she switched parties. So that's an issue. So I don't know if you want to get into this first video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's get into this first video. This is Elizabeth Warren addressing reparations.
I believe it's time to start the national, full-blown conversation about reparations in this country. And that means I support the bill in the House to appoint a congressional panel of experts, of people who are studying this, who talk about different ways we may be able to do it, and to make a report back to Congress so that we can, as a nation, do what's right and begin to heal.
Okay, so that right there,
That's bold.
It's bold, man.
It's good.
It's bold, but I think she's doing it early in the campaign because that's not going to be a popular issue in Middle America.
No, it's not a popular issue at all. But right now, you got to get the support of our Democratic individuals. And let me tell you, it's not about a circus. You don't want a media circus, and you don't want to bash your opponents, because your opponent, if they win, they're the ones that have to get the support of everybody else.
Yeah.
So coming out with a topic like that and making a bold statement like that will separate you from the rest of the pack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that is a topic that some of these people don't want to talk about.
Yeah, they won't touch it.
And a lot of folks do not want to talk about this. She's coming up front with it, said, I want to talk about it. And you pay attention to her answers on reparations. She doesn't give solutions. No. She says, let's talk about it. I mean, that's it. It doesn't mean that she believes in what a lot of folks believe in and how reparations are to be
Should
made.
be distributed.
Right.
Right.
She's saying, let's talk about it. And that, you know what? Yes, let's get past step one. Let's talk about it and get it over with.
Yeah, and politicians didn't even touch that before. That was just one of those issues that was in the belly of the Democratic Party. It was one of those things that just never got talked about, but a lot of people were talking about it. Weren't talking about it, but talking about it. So, and it's a good, this is what I was talking about, where you use that foundation. It's almost like she's putting the cement down first, you know what I mean? And then here's her putting the frame up. And this is, because she's building a house here.
Yes.
So this is the one thing, on this next video, we're going to talk about Elizabeth Warren's bread and butter. No one that's running right now is going to have Elizabeth Warren when it comes to banking, when it comes to understanding wealth in America and how it's being distributed. She is absolutely fantastic on this. This is why Obama appointed her. She was a threat to the Republicans, and they pushed her out. I don't know if you remember that. So let's look at what she said about wealth and taxes. Check this out.
This is a wealth tax on everyone with a net worth of over $50 million. There would be a 2% tax on households with a net worth between $50 million and $1 billion, and then a 3% tax on households with net worths exceeding $1 billion. This they're calling the billionaire surtax. They have already run this by at least two economists who work at UC Berkeley. This is what the Warren team is telling us, and they estimate that this wealth tax would affect some 75,000 American households, less than 0.1% of American households, and would raise around $2.75 trillion over a 10-year period. While we go through sort of the nitty-gritty details of this draft plan, I think it's important to talk about the political significance of this. This is everything to do with the concentration of wealth in this country. That has been a key message that we have heard from Senator Elizabeth Warren for a very long time.
So understanding that is this is the one thing that and she said it was going to raise 3.2 trillion, I think was the number that she put out there. I don't understand why this isn't a popular issue. This should be across the board. Everybody should agree on this, right? No one person should have $1 billion of wealth. I mean, look, I'm not wanting to control the wealth, but the biggest success in the United States was between, I think it was 1943, I think it was, to 1974, 75. I think that was the greatest time of wealth within the United States. The rich was taxed at about a 90% rate, at a certain rate. And Elizabeth Warren, she has the goods on this stuff. So her idea here is a 2% tax on wealth above 50 million and a 3% tax on wealth above 1 billion. And with all that, according to her plan, is going to raise some odd trillion dollars in revenue.
Right. And so a thing for people to think about is this: is she didn't just come up with this plan right now. Yeah. The video that we showed you was actually during the shutdown. And she has been on that policy and on that plan ever since, and thinking about that the whole entire time. So basically at the town hall, she basically said 2 cents of every dollar that they make will be reserved to do a lot of these other different things. Mm-hmm. That's a ton of money that can come and help out our economy, help out our citizens of America.
And you can, with that number, I think that was the number that was thrown out to fix the infrastructure.
That's
here,
right.
in the entire infrastructure within America, which is insane to me. I think that would be awesome. I think it's great. Elizabeth Warren is on point when it comes to this kind of stuff, and these type of policies this is just her bread and butter. Right. This is what she's good at. So
for you 50 millionaires or you billionaires or 100 billionaires or whatever it may be, you can afford 2 more cents a dollar.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. Some of them, they say
2 more cents a dollar.
So now, so she talked about wealth, she talked about reparations, and she is attacking now student debt. And that's another thing she's been on. She's been on this campaign trail, student debt thing, like she's been on it. Yep. And let's take a listen to this video of Elizabeth Warren. Let's go ahead and do that.
First of all, she would wipe out up to $50,000 in student debt for 42 million Americans, all those with incomes under $100,000. Secondly, she would use money to wipe out tuition at public colleges and universities. Third, she would put a bunch of money into Pell Grants to cover non-tuition expenses. And finally, there's a fund to finance assist in financing historically black colleges. Total cost $1.25 trillion.
So her plan would offer debt relief based on income. Households that make less than $100,000 a year would get $50,000 in loan cancellation. So she is putting a limit to it. So she's not, saying that she's going to eliminate all debt on a lot of these loans. Right. So, I mean, that's a good approach. What do you think?
No, I do, because look, she's putting thought into the policy that she wants to put forth. This is going to be funded by that 2% tax that we just talked about. The 2 cents of every dollar is going to, come back into the economy, and a lot of that is going to be used for student debt relief. Yeah. And there isn't enough money to give student debt relief to absolutely everybody. Right. So she put that cusp to make sure that it's budgeted correctly.
And it's capped.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so those folks who are making less than $100,000, and however the income is going to be measured at that moment, would be able to qualify for this debt relief.
And it's a popular issue on both sides.
No, it is. It is. I mean, it's not as all the way out there as just. Well, actually, she wants universal education as well. Yeah. Pre-K. Yeah. Universal pre-K. This money will come for universal pre-K. It'll come for. This money will also come for student debt relief for those people making under $100,000. Right. So that up to $50,000, I think.
Yeah, 50,000. Yeah,
and so that, I mean, she has put some major thought into the policy that she's putting forward.
And that's a great thing
Yeah.
about Elizabeth Warren.
Wow.
She's about time. About time someone's in
seriously,
there. Really,
they are getting, and I say they, when I say women, are getting to be brought to the forefront. Because, you know, the media has not been putting women up
Yep.
on the forefront.
Yeah.
And
Or at least taking them seriously.
right. And now, I mean, people get to listen and people get to hear the ideals of other folks. And I'm loving everything she has to say right now.
Great. Let's talk about her other policy that this one's kind of interesting. It's about abolishing electoral college. Listen to what she says on this one.
My view is that every vote matters. And the way we can make that happen is that we can have national voting, and that means get rid of the electoral college and every vote.
You know, but the times are changing.
Yep.
Right? Times are changing. You think about it. When we wrote the Constitution and established the Electoral College, the idea that you're going to be able to count every single person's vote was impossible, right? Would be impossible. And as we have grown, it'd be really impossible. But with technology, we have the capability of actually doing this.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we have the capability of actually counting every single vote.
And, you know, and let's not forget, look, I'm a history buff, okay? So the Electoral College was specifically designed for when the South joined the Union, right? They were terrified of African American voters of the time that there were at the time of 1865, which was the end of the Civil War, there were more African Americans in southern states than there were white individuals, or it was close, and it was enough to scare southern politicians. So that's why the Electoral College was actually implemented. It was to give the southern states a fair chance, because the 3/4 law came out of that. The Missouri Compromise was a lot of things going on at that time. So that's why the Electoral College was around. So I think we need to get rid of it. That's just my viewpoint. And Elizabeth Warren attacked it, and that's exactly the way you attack it, right there. Awesome. And real quick, before we get, she quickly talked about black maternal mortality. That was a big issue for African American women. I guess at birth there's more. I didn't even know this until Elizabeth Warren brought this up. It's sad because I'm African American. I should have known that. There are more African American women that die during birth than there is their white counterparts.
Yes.
So that's an issue. That's a problem. And she brings it up, and her policy, really quick, is to penalize hospitals that are not that are having poor African American death rates in comparison to white. This is what she said: the hospitals are just going to have to get a lump of money, and you'll bring down the maternal mortality rates that they get a bonus. And if they don't, then they're going to have money taken away from them. We've got to have change, and we've got to have change now. So that's basically what she said.
Yeah, well, that's a healthcare for all type issue.
Yeah.
I mean, the hospital shouldn't get the blame for it. A lot of times when it comes down to it, more
Uh-oh.
African American. No, it's true. It's
coming
very
from
true.
the hospital
no,
guy.
It's very true. When you look at it, a lot of the issues of why they die, a lot of the issues that are happening is about how the folks are able to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
About what they have available to them to benefit their health. And you will find in our country, our African American neighborhoods and in those communities, the services aren't as good as you have the services in
You're
the
saying
other rich areas.
Provide an equaler, more dispersed.
When we get to healthcare for all.
Okay, healthcare for all.
When we have better population health management. I mean, that is all, it all comes down to that. So, laying penalties upon something where you don't give the ability to be able to take care of folks, right? Then your results aren't going to be good.
Yeah.
I mean, we are continually, every single day, working on how to find out how to keep our communities healthy.
Yep.
We have to do our very best to keep our communities healthy. And in order to do that, there has to be some kind of funding or mechanism to be able to provide those healthy services.
Right.
Right? So it doesn't come from penalties.
Yeah,
So
that's her approach. So
Right.
anyway, I appreciate everybody. Everybody, let us know what you guys think of Elizabeth Warren and how she did in the town hall. Tell us what we're missing. Maybe there's some other stuff that you thought was important that we didn't mention here. Right. Anyway, I appreciate everybody for watching the Stephen Bobby Show. Continue to watch us here at the Mad Talk Studios here in the Central Valley part of California. We appreciate everybody for watching. Tune on the next segment, which is segment 2. What are we talking about on segment 2, by the way? Let's see.
Got a lot of different things to
Oh,
talk about.
my goodness. There is a lot of things we're going to be talking on segment 2. Stay tuned to us. Thank you.